Hey, this is Maximo and welcome to Maximo's Travels. Today we're off to Singapore, marvelous Singapore. We're escaping the mid-autumn temperature in Melbourne and off to marvelous, hot, tropical Singapore. I can't wait. We set off on a Sunday morning in late April 2023 to Tullamarine Airport. We caught a Qantas flight from Melbourne directly to Singapore. It was a very nice and reasonably uneventful flight. I'll do a flight review in the next couple of videos that I post on the channel. After an 8-hour flight, we landed at Singapore's Changi Airport. It was a breeze going through customs and collecting our bags. It actually took more time for me to get a bottle of duty-free alcohol than it did to collect our bags. We rode on the monorail between Terminal 1 and Terminal 2 and then proceeded to catch the MRT to our hotel. And boy, what a hotel it was. This is a view from our hotel room, which was the Swissotel near Marina Bay on the 34th floor. Absolutely stunning. It really sort of took our breath away. Because of the time difference, I woke up at around about 5 a.m. On the first day and was witness to an absolutely spectacular dawn. It was a real pleasure staying at this hotel. I was amazed at the ever-changing light and landscapes that were presented in front of us. A little bit later, a very rare morning storm blew in and provided even more spectacular sights and some sounds as well. The Swissotel is the big, long, white building in the centre of the picture. After a while, we had some breakfast and decided to venture out into the heat of Singapore. We decided to walk to Marina Bay and just have a look around the area. We walked past the Arts Precinct and made our way to the waterfront. Spectacular views of Marina Bay and Singapore's CBD. For those of you that follow my channel, you'd know that I'm right into motorsports, and I wanted to walk on the small section which is the permanent part of the Singapore Formula One racing track, which happened to be quite eerily quiet when we visited. We then proceeded along Marina Bay to the famous Helix Bridge. And I believe the helix is supposed to represent the human DNA. It certainly was quite an interesting bridge to walk on. I really like some of the really modern sites and infrastructure in Singapore. I think they've done a marvellous job since the last time that I came to visit, which was probably around about 35 or so years ago. Once we crossed the bridge, we made our way to the shops at Marina Bay Sands. This is located between Marina Bay and the Marina Bay Sands Hotel. We wanted to check out the mall because we'd heard that there's a few things to see there, including quite fancy and spectacular food court that you can see on the ground floor, as well as the architecture and the indoor sampan rides, which you'll be seeing in a minute. We decided not to do too much on our first day because of the heat, so we just restricted ourselves to the Marina Bay shops, as well as the Cloud Forest and flower dome, which you'll be seeing later on in the video. We had originally wanted to ride on the sampans, but the length of the ride was around 350 to 400 metres long. The cost was $13 per person, and we just thought the whole thing looked a bit lame. Maybe it's okay for young kiddies, but certainly not something for the mature and discerning traveller, that's for sure. Afterwards, we found our way into the underground air-conditioned tunnel that takes us from the shops all the way to the gardens by the bay. We emerged from the tunnel into the Gardens by the Bay complex, which provided a fantastic view of the sky trees and the back end of the Marina Bay Sands Hotel. We elected to walk to the Cloud Forest, but you can, for a couple of dollars Singapore, get a little electric tractor train from the underground tunnel to the Cloud Forest itself, saving about a 10 to 12 minute walk there in the heat. Once we got into the Cloud Forest, it was immediately cooler than the ambient temperature outside the dome. First thing you see when you walk into the place is a really nice cooling waterfall. Quite high, I'd say it was about 70 to 80 metres high, and a really cooling effect, having the mist sort of blowing around you. You're able to buy tickets both online and in multiple ticket booths scattered around the complex. The cost of the Cloud Forest, including the Avatar exhibition and the flower dome, was 53 Singapore dollars per person. That was a little bit expensive, but both are world-class attractions. We spent several hours there wandering around, and I'd say it was money well spent. It's basically 2 or 3 world-class attractions in the one big complex. And just a word of warning for those of you that might have a fear of heights, some of the walkways, especially the higher ones, are very, very high, and the walkway, they're suspended by wires, so there's a little bit of flex, and it doesn't make for a very conducive trip. If you are scared of heights, it's not quite for the faint-hearted, but I had a marvellous time. Your ticket to the Cloud Forest also entitles you to the entry to the Avatar experience. This is quite a good interactive display, plenty of digital screens, and you can flap your arms around like you're some sort of avatar bird. Quite a unique experience. Also, you can actually walk right behind the waterfall and get a fantastic vantage point. really stunning place to be. I really enjoyed it. You basically start at the top and walk around the cloud walk, the treetop walk, the secret garden, and eventually you find your way heading into the Cloud Forrest Theatre. This theatre has spectacular lights and sounds, and it's just breathtaking really. We spent quite a while just wandering through and having a look at the light and sound show. The last stop in the Cloud Forest was Orchid Heaven. There was another small waterfall that you can see, plus heaps of flowering plants and orchids of all different varieties. It was quite a nice tranquil place and a perfect location to end our 2-hour or so journey through the Cloud Forest. We had lunch at the Majestic restaurant, which was right near the Cloud Forest. We were sort of sucked in by signs saying they had gluten-free foods, and we looked closely at the menu. The golden egg rice was probably about the only option that I could go for, and we accompanied that with a couple of ice cold Singapore Tiger beers. The rice is really, really nice. I was quite surprised and quite reasonably priced, so it's a worthwhile lunch location in between the Cloud Forest and the Flower Dome. While the architecture and the shape of the Flower Dome wasn't quite as extensive or impressive as the Cloud Forest, it was a really nice place to visit. It was a little bit cooler again than the Cloud Forest, so we took the opportunity to cool down from the tropical heat outside. There were a number of distinct areas. There was the cactus garden, flowering plants, and other areas that you're about to see. We were fortunate to attend during a special tulip exhibition, and the colour and vibrancy of the mass tulips was really stunning. It was quite beautiful. It's a very special experience that it'll take quite a while to forget. As you can probably see in the previous clip, I took heaps and heaps of photos and a fair bit of video as well. We spent about an hour wandering around the Flower Dome and then decided that we were pretty tired. The heat and all the walking had got to us, and decided to head back to the MRT station and catch the MRT back to our hotel. Again, we walked through the sky trees and had a really great view of the back of the Marina Bay Sands Hotel that we'd be visiting in a couple of days. We made our way to the MRT station, where thankfully it was air conditioned and we were able to escape the heat and humidity that is Singapore. The MRT system is just so efficient. I can't say how good it was. It's probably one of the best mass transit systems that I've ever been to anywhere in the world. It was also quite reasonably priced. Most of the rides that we took cost around about $3 to $3.20 Singapore dollars, quite affordable. And incidentally, a friend of Joe's that actually lives in Singapore said the cost to get a car on the road can amount to several $100,000 because of license fees and high sales taxes on cars. So if you need a car, you've got to have quite deep pockets compared to most places in the world that I've been to. We made it back to our hotel just in time to catch yet another late afternoon rainstorm. Truly spectacular day, really great. I do hope you've liked this video. If so, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And until our next Singapore adventure, take care and bye.